Well, a great and glorious Thursday morning to you. This is episode 274, 9/25/25. Our title for today's status chat is New Home Sales Spring to a 3.5-year high. I am Delbridge of Benchmark Realty, Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and this is your weekly uploaded video blog. And hopefully you're finding it without any trouble. But if you're having some trouble, let's look here. Right above my beautiful little head is a QR code that you can snap that, scan that, take a picture of that, whatever you need to get that into your system to find us over on our YouTube page. So what are we going to talk about today? Well, today I've got something fairly quick and fairly simple. We're not going to do a lot of reading to you because we know you can read yourself. But what we've got are two different reports from two different sources, and they have a different conclusion because economics is mainly an educated guess. Sometimes you wonder if they're even educated, but it is a guess, and it's based upon impression and human values and things that we see in our life and what have happened already to us. So let's go ahead and get to our first little screen, which is going to be our Mortgage News Daily. That's our source because we like it because it gives us this little trend right here, year-over-year change. This is on the day. And we see it's all up. And we see even with the Mortgage Bankers Association, it's up as well or flat. And Freddie Mac is up or flat. And both of those are weekly surveys. So the data says that. So did you do any good? Just tell me. Do you think you did good by waiting a year if our year over year is actually going up? Now we know they've been higher. If we look at our little form here, let's see if I can get my little mouse to work. Let's look at it. We do know that we have been higher, but we're also higher than where we were about a year ago. So we've been worse, we've gotten better, but as you can see from the blue, the Mortgage News Daily, right here on this screen, we see that it's gone up. If we do to the orange, I believe it is, that's Freddie Mac, that's the government version. It's also up, it's a weekly. And we see the MBA is also weekly. It is, or should be right there, should be the same, if not up over the year, which we just saw. So what is it going to say to us? Well, let's pick another tab to get our first opinion. All right, here I roll on up to the top. This is from Reuters. U.S. new home sales jump to more than a 3.5-year high. Economists dismiss rise as a fluke. And I'm not going to try that person's name. You can read it there. It says Lucia Multicani. I guess that's correct. I don't know. September 24th, yesterday. Updated today. Summary. New home sales jump 20.5% in August. July sales pace revised up. New housing inventory drops to an 8-month low. Median house price increases to 1.9% to $413,500. And of course, this is the statement. They are quoting Reuters because they're quoting themselves. Sales of U.S. single-family homes surged to the highest level in more than 3.5 years, but the likely exaggerates the housing market's health, and the weakening labor market could limit the boost from falling mortgage rates. Well, we just saw mortgage rates were actually increasing. Did I not just show you that? Yes, I did. I think I tried to. Anyway, so this is already in one day already outdated. The bigger than expected home sales last month, reported by the Commerce Department on Wednesday, was shrugged off by economists who noted that the new housing data was extremely volatile and subject to revisions. How has that ever changed? They also said the jump in sales was at odds with the subdued homebuilder sentiment. Now, just starting right there, I want to hit another story because this is someone else's opinion. And that's all this economics really is somebody's opinion of what's going on. I've said this 100 times. Get 10 economists in a room and you'll get 50 different opinions. Now figure that out. Sometimes I change the numbers, but you get the idea. There's always more opinions than there are people giving them for some strange reason. So this one is from Market Watch. right? It's also dated, I think, yesterday at the same time. Yeah, about the same time, 24, because they always got to be ready to be the first one to bang on about something, even if they have to revise it the next day. Okay. New home sales spike to 3-year high as builders pile on discounts to sell homes. Well, that's kind of getting in my head. I mean, the first one, the Reuters, they said, home builders' opinions are going down. Their sentiment is going down. This is at odds with their sentiment going down, and yet we have new home spikes going up. Well, here we have apologies once again, Arthur Samarathan. It's the reason I don't do radio. I can't get the names right. All right. It says that this is because the builders are dumping on discounts to move the inventory. So I don't know what that's all about, but it's certainly one man's opinion. We come down here to theirs. Says sales of new homes spiked in August as builders pile on discounts and slash prices to lure buyers. So I guess home builders generally, I think, that's just my opinion, I think they're probably tuned in better than a lot of economists are, because that's their only business, is building homes, versus an economist maybe looking at all kinds of other things, the financial markets. They may be looking at new regulations, all kind of stuff. Anyway, that's what we got going on there. That's all we're going to look at that. About the Arthur, turns out that's a young lady. She is a MarketWatch personal finance reporter covering residential real estate. She is the winner of a silver award for best collection of a work by an individual covering residential real estate from the National Association of Real Estate Editors. Well, that seems like something kind of industry related. I don't know the value of that award, but she certainly has gotten that award, and I have not received that award because I am not a recognized real estate person as far as information. I just do a video blog, which we're always very, very happy for you to be with. Now, we do have one personal segment, which is our numbers, and we say we get to them for this week to see if we see a sudden jump in sales of new homes. Well, last week, 9/18 to 25, we had 29,854 available and 44,51 under contract. Now, ratio between those two numbers was 15, which dropped down just a little bit. As you can see, this week's, I put them up there so you can study just how little that the availables changed this week, and yet I do mark them down as a bump. And you see it was up last week, it's down this week from 29,854 to 29,806. Not really a huge percentage swing. And we did come down a little bit on the 438.9, which is down just a little bit less than 100 from the previous week. And the ratio itself remained unchanged at 15%. So what do you say we wrap this up and let you get on with the rest of your Thursday morning?